Hello friends, this is me, your host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope all is going on your end. So today I am back with another video with another book to give a review on. So let's start a review on a book which is Blue Blood, a D.I. Nick Dixon novel by Damien Boyd. Have you done any drawing before? I had a go on the machine at the gym, he said, with an apologetic shrug. Does that count? Not really. This is a fixed seat, and you have only got 1 hour to worry about. But I'm sure you will get the hang of it. It had seemed like a good idea at the time. Late on a Friday night, after a Chinese and a few beers. Yeah, gig drawing. Fancy having a go. I would love to. We'll be going out in the morning then, about 10. Bravado, topped up with Dutch courage, and here he was, standing on the jetty, standing on the jetty at Burnham Yacht Club, looking down at the pilot gigs bobbing about on the small waves rolling up the river Brew. A freezing cold February morning, the wooden seats in the gigs soaking wet. She tried a reassuring arm around his shoulders. You won't notice the rain when we get going, and it will be lovely out there this morning. I will take your word for it. He swallowed hard, trying to keep his breakfast down more than anything. 2 Solpadeine Max and a bowl of muesli. It was going to be touch and go whether he had hang on to it as it was. And that was before he had even set foot in the gig. Being out In Bridgewater Bay, in an open boat was one thing. Doing it in the pissing rain with a steaming hangover was another altogether. The things lads do to impress a girl. He zipped his coat up to the collar. Waterproof, it said on the label, but it was showerproof at best. He had been soaked to the skin before they got out to Sturt Island. It might not be our date, but it was the next best thing. And it was Valentine's Day after all. So maybe he would try his luck when they got back in. A nice meal somewhere, although he hadn't booked a table, didn't want to presume. Here, she said, handing him a large rectangular cushion. It fits on the seat with these velcro straps. Just try to keep it dry. Thanks. Haven't you got any waterproof trousers? No. Use the multi-story car park behind the station. Rupert Street. Charlesworth had said, claim it back on expenses. What would you think? Asked Potter, leaning over the balustrade above him. There was mischief in her voice, mercifully. I know it's supposed to be a warm, open space where people feel welcome and relaxed. A new concept, apparently. Whose? Asked Dixon. The police and crime commissioners. Potter opened the glazed security door from the inside. Soft furnishings, a vibrant color palette, corporate graphics. You couldn't make it up. Someone has, ma'am. It's Deborah. I have told you about that before. Congratulations, by the way. For yesterday, not this. You're not going to thank me for this. Words got round, Locke's colleagues, and you can cut the atmosphere with a knife. I have seen it before, a toxic mix of fear and anger. Dixon was following her across the waiting area, waving between coffee tables covered in glossy magazines. Lifts this way. CID are on the 4th and 5th floors, she said, jabbing the button. We have given over the whole of the 5th floor to your incident room. DCI Hunt was up there already with his team, so it made sense. Porter waited until the lift doors closed behind them. You should know he's left already. So, T.S. Redgrave will deal with the handover. Hunt didn't fancy being moved aside for a superintendent younger than his children, he said. That's a rough translation anyway. That's a rough translation anyway. I bet it is, thought Dixon. Not that he had anything useful to add anyway. Not that he had anything useful to add anyway. We know all we need to know about Hampton and Paul, surely. Apart from who killed them, replied Dixon. He had parked across the drive of the large house on the edge of the Bradley stalk. Two cars on the gravel drive, both SUVs. Well, he asked, I'm not really familiar with the market north of Bristol, replied Lois. Maybe 750. New windows, looks like a new roof. Double garage, good sized plot. Yeah, 750. Maybe a bit more. The cars are 599 a month each. If they have leased them, 70 grand to buy new. A mine of information. The Poles weren't the first family whose son had gone off the rails. And they wouldn't be the last. What interested Dixon was just how far off the rails. Are they expecting us? Asked Lois, over the noise of the gravel beneath their feet. How did you find it? Don't ask. Mark was sitting on a stool in the window of Pura, watching the steam rising from a mug of coffee. Working a van parked further along the road too. I used to work in Bristol back in the day. That's the van, is it? Asked Dixon. He was doing his best to act casual, not to look too obviously. A white transit van with tinted windows at the back. A white transit van with tinted windows at the back. That's it, sir, replied Pierce. There are cameras front and back, so it's looking in both directions. Nice work if you can get it. Sitting there all day drinking tea and watching porn on their phones, probably. What if you need a fiddle? Asked Lois. Have we got time for a coffee? No, replied Dixon. No taste for it either. But that was a different matter. They will know you are coming if you are on the watch list, said Mark. We are on the watch list? We all are, for testing and evaluation purposes. Then they will know it's me when I bang on the door. Won't they? Seconds later, Dixon was doing just that, his warrant card pressed to the tinted rear window of the van. Open up. Silence. Lois had walked to the front of the van and was looking in the driver's side window. Her hand shielding the reflection. There is a screen, so I can't see into the back. You can see the camera, though, if you look closely. They will have to do better than that. People will spot it a mile off if they are looking for it. Shouting now. You will have to do better than that. You will have to do better than that. Her sentence was punctuated by a bag on the driver's door. People will spot you a mile off. A small crowd was gathering on the pavement, watching the commotion. A few with smartphones in their outstretched hands. Dixon tried a sliding door at the side. Shall I move them on? Asked Pierce, gesturing to the handful of spectators further along the pavement. Don't bother, Mark. The text message arrived when he was on his way to pick up Lois the following morning. You get 2 weeks maternity sport leave. Take it when he's born and we will talk. He is again, although she had admitted she had no real idea. And they had spent most of last night talking. Life outside the police. There was one. Jane was just beginning to find that out. Maybe the answer was a change within the police. Traffic, possibly, or even just being a proper detective superintendent sitting behind a desk. Spared the blood and death. That might be preferable to being a newly qualified solicitor. And he was newly qualified. Albeit 8 years ago now, never practiced either. He pulled up outside Lois's house, hooted the horn, watching the front door open, a peck on her husband's cheek, and then Lou running down the garden path. Common enough sight of a morning. Dixon had done much the same when he had left the cottage. I have had a message from High Tech, sir, she said. Climbing into the passenger seat. We need to call in there on the way to Brightwell. Something about Sohail York's computer. "45 minutes, largely in silence. I was told to ask for DS Barrett, Lois said, when they walked into the high-tech unit. She waited until the receptionist disappeared through the double doors. Must be important to drag you all the way here first thing. The same thick glasses, pale skin size of too much time spent indoors in front of a computer screen. Spent indoors in front of a computer screen. Barrett seemed pleased with herself too. I thought I would catch you on your way into Bristol, sir, she said. You did. You're going to love this. Follow me. Now they were sitting around a computer screen at a workstation in an open plan office. All of the desks were occupied, everybody staring at screens, wearing headphones. The reality of 21st century policing, much of it anyway. Sohail York's computer, said Barrett. Nothing much on it. And he's deleted all his emails. We might be able to recover them, we might not. But that's going to take time. I'm afraid. What he has got is a website. It was built for him by a designer somewhere. Not terribly sophisticated, it's just a WordPress blog, really. A front page and then his blog posts, news, events he's been to, going to, that sort of stuff. I have seen it, said Dixon. Not that it has been terribly enlightening, apart from the link to his various appearances in the press, including the ones where he had been making the allegations about the vigilante. Although those had been deleted after Dixon's visit to his office. He's got it set up to auto forward any messages he receives via the contact page on his website to his email address. And then I am guessing he replies from there. Unfortunately, He's deleted his email, but what he seems to have forgotten or never known, possibly, is that his website keeps a record of these messages. The designer installed a plug-in called Flamingo that keeps them all in the back, and I found the login details on his phone. A smug grin. I have only got the first message because, as I said, he would have replied from his email or found the number given. And it's the first message that starts it all, I suspect. Starts all what? This is the blackmail. Jane reached forward, trying to pull herself up on the arm of the sofa. She was reaching out for Dixon's hand, leaning over, doubled up in pain, groaning. "Listen to me," she said, taking his hand, squeezing, blood oozing from between her fingers. "If they find out you brought the gun with you, you are in deep shit." It was by his computer. "Did anyone see you take it?" "No." "Then he turned up here with two guns, one each hand. We fought and he dropped one on the rug." Jane winced. "In front of the television. You saw it, picked it up, and shot him." "All right." Silence. "I'm not having my husband and the father of my child in prison." "All right." The gurgling had stopped now. Grady dead. The gurgling had stopped now. Grady dead. The loud hailer outside cracked into life. "Is everyone all right in there?" Jane looked up at Dixon, pain etched on her face. The gun was on the rug. You saw it when you came in, picked it up. She said. Spelling it out, the rest of the story stays the same. The gun was on the rug. I picked it up. Good. Now get me to the hospital. 3275 Superintendent Dixon, he shouted through the open front door of the cottage. He was holding Jane up, his arm clamped around her shoulders. Grady is dead. The scene is secure. I am coming out with Detective Sergeant Winter. Then he scooped up her legs, carried her over the threshold. Out rather than in. Into the glare of the lights and rain. I need to get her to a hospital. Bateman had run forward, armed response officers still aiming their weapons at the cottage. There's an ambulance on the way. Jane was resting her head on Dixon's shoulder. I'm hemorrhaging. I need a maternity unit. Weston's nearest. A patrol car in that case, offered Bateman. Williams is pursuit trained and you can blue light it. "11 minutes. Just enough time for Dixon to ring ahead." Jane was lying on the back seat, her head in his lap, her eyes closing. "Stay awake," he whispered, gently tapping her cheek with his fingertips. Siren wailing for the last mile or two. The car screeched to a halt. The rear door opened from the outside and an unconscious Jane was pulled from his arms, carried on to a waiting trolley. "Are you the husband?" asked one of the nurses. "Yes." We have got an operating theatre on standby, and she will be going straight in. We have got to get the baby out. Have you got someone who can come and wait with you? There had been one text message. Poland's response immediate. On way. He opened the door with the battering ram, and I went in the first. Jack was behind me. Then came the superintendent. I went into the room on the left. Turned out to be the living room. Shouted a warning, but it was clear. Jack had gone through to the back, shouted, clear from the kitchen, so up the stairs we went. I was in the lead, Mr. Dixon behind me. Which room did you go into then? The front room first, but it was clear. Actually, the whole house was clear. Grady had done a bunk before we went in. What did you see in the front room? At that stage, just a wardrobe, chest of drawers, and a bed. It was clear, so I moved on to the back room. And what did you see in the back room? There was a desk with a computer on it, a 3D printer on a small table. That's about it, really. I was only looking for the occupant of the house, to be honest. After that, I checked the loft. Where was acting Superintendent Dixon while you did that? In the back room, a 3D printer was what he had been looking for. So, and the loft was open to next door. We think that's how Grady got out. I came back down the ladder, had a look in the front room, and that's when I saw the photographs. Of DS Winter. That's right. I called to Mr. Dixon and he came to have a look at them. What else did you see in the back room? There was loads of crap, really. It looked more like a workshop. There were gun parts, triggers, molds for making bullets, and what have you. Elastic bands, tools, spools of polymer. Guns? Yes. In your original witness statement, Reese, you said there were two handguns on the desk. Near the computer keyboard. That's right. And yet, the inventory in the scientific services report only makes reference to there being one. No, there were two, definitely two. So, this is all we have from this book. I hope you guys liked it. If you wanted to buy this book, you can buy it from our Amazon page, Best Book for You. And if you wanted me to give a review on any other book that you wanted to like, then you can suggest me in the comment section, so I'll make a video on that too. So I'll be back with another video with another book. Till then, just take care and goodbye.